Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. The feature race at Delaware Park on Wednesday. Stakes action. Race number 6 is the $50,000 Stanton for Delaware bred or certified 3-year-olds going 3/4 of a mile. Let's take a look at this field. There are 2 horses in this race that are going to take the lion's share of the money. I think Witty will be the favorite at post time. He might be the best horse, Mike. He's won his last 3 races on dirt. He's getting Lasix for the first time, but no Sabe Nada is coming off of a game victory, and he could be the speed of this race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the pace plays out. It does feel like the 5, no Sabe Nada, could be the speed in here. Danny does come off of a pretty nice win most recently. Both the 1 and the 5 are stakes winners already. I think they're both deserving of the short prices on the morning line. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out between them.
And our friends at Timeform US don't believe this pace is going to be fast. I agree with them. We throw up the pace projector. It's the rare gray bar scenario. Usually these gray bar scenarios are for 1.5-mile turf races. This is a 6-furlong dirt race. It does give an advantage to no Sabe Nada. It is nice to know that Witty can stay close to the pace if necessary.
Yeah, I think he can too. He's not one of those horses who, when you look at Witty, I'm talking about here, when you look at his running lines, it doesn't look like he has a ton of speed. I feel like he might have more speed than it shows on paper, though, Dan. 2 back when he won the Pennsylvania Nursery. He just didn't break great that day. But his other races, he gets forward. They just feel like it just seems like they're pretty content to rate this horse, and they may not have to do that here.
Now, Witty's most recent race is Nutter Thraw. He is bred for turf, and I think it's a little too early to give up on him as a future turf horse, but the Penn Mile was raced over a day where the turf course was softer than soft, and just many horses didn't handle it. Witty didn't appear to handle it, and we've seen horses that didn't run well over that turf course come back and run very well. Fort Washington comes to mind at Monmouth last week.
Yeah, it's true. It's just a race that even if you're, concerned about him being a turf horse down the line, that's not the race to hold against him for sure. I suspect he'll get another chance on that surface at some point. But personally, Dan, I'm happy that they've come back to the main track with this horse. His dirt form is really, really good. All 3 of his last 3 starts on dirt, all wins, all really impressive wins. A couple of stakes in there, an 85 buyer back in January. This horse is pretty good.
Let's watch that 85 buyer performance against Open Company in the spectacular bid going 7/8 of a mile. And he just wins this race as easy as he pleases. And he beat 4 next out winners in this spot. If he runs anything close to this race, he's going to be very tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean, if he runs this race, he just running this race back, he's probably going to win, Dan. And I think it's worth pointing out, this race is 5 months ago. He could have done a lot of developing in that time. He'll also get Lasix for this start. This horse is going to be really tough in here.
Steady John is the number 2, and it's a tough situation for a maiden. And I think shown a little bit of ability here and a little bit of ability there. He'd be tough in a maiden race back. Now he's going to have to take on some decent stakes horses. I liked his runner-up effort 3 back at Laurel. Royal Spy that day just got loose in a race where it was a very fast race from start to finish, much faster division of 40,000 waiver maidens. Last time out, he returned to Delaware, and I think he benefited from the route to sprint move. There wasn't a ton of pace going on, though, and I liked the way he finished it up. I know he was a giant price in here. He was 25-1, but I like that he was able to finish second behind Heaven's Got Fire, who had shown some form as well.
Yeah, he runs fine in this race. It did seem like a step in the right direction for him. It's tough for a horse like this, Dan. He's never won a race before, and they're going to bump him up here to face a couple of horses who are already stakes winners. That's a really tough situation. Then you add in the fact that he just doesn't have a lot of speed, and they may not be really going in front of this horse. There's a lot working against him, but he has a chance to be okay.
Crabs and Beer is one of only 2 3-time winners in this race. The other one being no Sabe Nada. Crabs and Beer going turf to dirt. He ran just fine in the James W. Murphy last time out on turf going a mile. He's going to cut back in distance. I like him sprinting, and while he's done good things on turf, I like him slightly better on the dirt. The problem with Crabs and Beer is I just am not sure where the upside's coming from. He's already run 11 times. He's got to do better.
That was my problem with him too. And listen, maybe he's better on dirt, but his turf races are actually pretty good. The sprint win was done, accomplished pretty easily. He ran well last time against 2 horses that are just better than he is. He finished a pretty good third going longer. I don't mind him coming back to dirt for this race, Dan, but I also didn't want to bet him if he was going to take a lot of money in here.
And he is 3-1 on the morning line. The number 4 is Little Tony Two Phones, who took some money in his career debut in a maiden race at Delaware, and it just didn't work out for him that day. He was well beaten. He's going to come back in relatively short notice, and the connections are fairly confident stepping him up into a stakes race. I'll take a wait-and-see approach.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that this is where he comes back. It does look like, I guess, he's training pretty well coming into this. I don't know, Dan. I know he took some money first time out, so maybe they expected him to run well. He did absolutely nothing in that race. So I'm actually surprised they're coming back on a stakes race now.
No Sabe Nada has won 3 times. All 3 of those wins have come at Delaware, including this race, his first start of the year on June the 7th. And he did some nice things. Now, No Sabe Nada basically prompted this odds-on horse to his outside all the way around. The fractions were reasonable, a 22-4 opening quarter. But No Sabe Nada is very game. He doesn't change leads, but that's him. He didn't change leads in the first state dash last year when he won. I think what's notable is that not only was this runner up 2-5, but he's an older horse that's won 7 times, and he would come back to earn his 7th victory in his next start, winning at Monmouth with an 84 buyer.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right, Dan. I mean, this horse, it feels like a legit 80 buyer this horse ran. The 2 races that Hero Tiger surrounded that race with are an 84 and an 85. And as you mentioned, he's won a lot of races already. And I'll give No Sabe Nada some credit for just taking the race to that 2-5 shot early and basically racing him around the track and beating him. It was a good performance. We'll see if he can repeat it.
Flaming East is the number 6 going out for Lacey Gaudette. And this horse acted up a little bit before the start of his most recent race, a $25,000 waiver. But once the gates broke, the setup was there for him. He sat just off the leaders. And as we see, Flaming East is going to make a run on the outside. He's taken over the lead once they turn for home, and he goes about his business. He's getting better. He is going to have to continue to improve, however, because this race was a 56 buyer, and he's facing horses that have earned 80s.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, listen, he gets the job done here and he does win it clear to the wire, Dan. I just, personally wasn't that impressed with his victory. He set an absolutely perfect trip. And you can see him through the stretch. He's not really getting away from this field, but he's going to hold on. Everybody's just sort of slowly gaining ground on him. I don't know. I wasn't thrilled with that performance. He certainly didn't do anything there that would make me want to bet him back against this field.
Top pick time for the Stanton Stakes. Witty has a lot of attributes going for him. No Sabe Nada, a lot of attributes going for him. Maybe Steady John's only attributes the price. He could be between 15 and 20-1 in this race. The pace scenario is very, very concerning. I've just seen a couple of his races. I like what I've seen. He's going to be a big price. But like you, I think Witty is the horse to beat.
Yeah, I do too. I just like this horse. I think he's pretty good, and I like them coming back to dirt for him in this race. Of the 2 favorites, I just sort of much prefer Witty switching back to this surface and cutting back in distance.
Witty beat 4 next out winners in the Spectacular Bid, his most recent race on dirt. He's likely to go favored in the Stanton on Wednesday. He's the horse to beat. He's Mike's top pick. 1352 for Mike, 2156 for me. Best of luck.